So here I am doing my first video blog for 2012, standing in this small kirana store, a small grocery store, like a mom and pop shop in Pondicherry. Pondicherry is a city that's sort of located on the southeast coast of India, tip of India, a city with a population of about 1 million and with fascinating history. But what am I doing here in this kirana store? The reason I'm here is because I want to talk about these. I don't know how many of you have seen these and are aware of what these are, but these represent an innovation that completely changed the landscape of distributing products, particularly sort of personal care products to begin with, but then after that almost everything in India. These are called sachets, and you see sachets of everything from shampoos to powder to tea, coffee, even small packets of Pampers, etc. Everything is available now in these micro-sized packets. And the reason I want to talk about this, particularly standing here, is that this innovation of sachets actually came not from the R&D labs of the major multinationals like Unilever, Procter & Gamble. No, it came from a small brand called Chik, C-H-I-K, that originated, and still exists, but originated in a city called Cuddalore, which is about 30 kilometers south of where I am right now. The owner of the brand, Mr. Chinni Krishnan, and that's how the name Chik for the brand, acronym taking the first letters of his name, he decided, he had a vision, clear vision, because of his deep understanding of his local ecosystem. He had a vision that every ordinary man and woman in India wanted, desired, aspired to use a lot of the products that were out of their reach because they came in these large packaging, expensive, and had too much of the product, more than people were ready to really take on. But that didn't stop them from wanting to use the product, wanting to use shampoo or soap or coffee, etc. And so he said, I want my products to be used by every coolie and rickshaw puller, that is every porter and puller of these rickshaws, whether cycle rickshaws or hand pull rickshaws. I want all of them to be able to afford using these products. And so he came up with the concept of the sachet. First for shampoo, for his own Chik brand, and then he started to put rice in small sachets, salt in small sachets, everything possible, whether it was things to eat or personal care products, everything he started to sell in small sachets. And it became a household name. In fact, offshoots of that brand today, they rule the personal care products business in southern India. Yes, they sell more than the big giants, the big multinationals. So, why is this interesting? I find this very interesting because wasn't it common sense for everyone to understand that in countries like India, where large populations exist, on less than $1,200 or so a year, people would need a completely different format in which they could buy products. A different format from, the sort of large, expensive, bulky products that sell in the West, whether in Western Europe or North America or Japan, because customers, their consumers there are about 20 times more wealthy than consumers in many parts of the emerging markets. So if this was just sheer common sense, why did this idea not strike the big, muscled and deep-pocketed multinational giants who've been in India for such a long time? Why did that innovation spring from a small enterprise in a tiny city in southern India? And that's my point. You have to understand the ecosystem. If you do not understand the ecosystem, if you ignore researching and getting your deep insights about ecosystem, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities. And so today, Mr. Chidi Krishnan opened the floodgates of the concept of micro-selling long before management guru C.K. Prahlad and his, sort of concept, very popular concept now of fortune at the bottom of the pyramid. Long before that, Mr. Krishnan opened the floodgates, and today it's ubiquitous, not just in India, but many other places. So, if today everybody is selling everything in micro packages for large volumes of people who will consume, even though each person may be paying very little because this is a very small packet compared to a large bottle, but imagine there are 1 billion people in India, 1.5 billion in China, etc., etc. So this concept of thinking small and large volumes, that emerged only because of the holistic understanding of the ecosystem. And so I say, again, don't ignore and or underestimate the power of knowing your ecosystem really well. And you'll be surprised how very often the very significant insights, they actually come from the most unremarkable objects or conversations or people or tasks in the ecosystem. But you'll never uncover those hidden gems of insights unless you have an immersive experience of your ecosystem. So I say to you, go find the next big idea for a mega innovation, an idea that is lurking right now in your own ecosystem. Thank you. And so that's as much as I have for this blog.